Hello, and thanks for stopping by. Today we'll be discussing how to get the YouTube subscriber count widget in AwesomeWM. Now, this that we have here is a project on GitHub by Mac, and Mac is on YouTube, which is how I found this project to begin with. I was looking on YouTube trying to figure out how to get a subscriber count widget, and his video came up where he done it in Polybar. Well, the issue is that I don't use Polybar at this time. I just use WeBar. So I wanted to be able to create something that I can use in my WeBar configuration. And so this project is a fork from howcode.org, which is their Python subcount, which can be located right here. Now, the similarities between the two is that they both use the legacy usernames, and I don't have a legacy username, so it wouldn't work in this configuration. But what I'm going to do today is show you how to do it with your channel ID. And they both use an API key, which I will leave a link down in the description on how to get your API key, because you have to have one from Google's API in order for this to work. But the biggest difference that I noticed was in how they print it off. See, here they print it off as like name plus has this many subscribers and then subscribers here. Whereas he just has a number here. And while I can appreciate both lines of code, I much prefer this code here, because what I'm going to do is customize the code in the WeBar configuration instead of doing it in the Python file. And yes, we will be using Python for today's tutorial. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to open up Vim, and we're going to locate our file. But if you're following this tutorial for the first time, you shouldn't have this file. But whenever you start up Vim, this will create a file for you, especially when you go to save it. So we're going to type in vim.config/awesome/subscribers. Not subscribers. Oh my gosh. Subscribers.py. Okay. So we're going to hit enter, and we're going to come up with this line of code. But like I said before, you probably don't have this, which you should probably start on it now. Anyways, first thing we'll do is we'll import url lib.request. And the reason we're importing this is because we want to open a URL for us to read the contents of it. And then we're going to import JSON so that way we can parse the data and get the information that we need to display in print. The channel ID is going to be from your YouTube URL. And if you don't know how to do that, just go to your customization tab in YouTube Studio and then hit basic info. Scroll all the way down and you should see your channel ID at the end of that URL. Your key, as I said before, will be coming from googleapis.com. So I will once again tell you that there will be a link in the description on how to go about getting your API key, because this is going to be important. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have a variable called data, and data is going to equal this url_lib.request.url open that we're going to open here. And basically what this URL says is that we're pulling from googleapis.com. This is going to be YouTube's data version 3 that we're pulling from. And we're pulling channels. The part that we're pulling in particular is the statistics. We're going to feed in the channel ID as well as the key. But then we're also going to read this URL because it has JSON contents in it. Now another variable we will be passing is subs, and subs is going to equal json.loads, and in parentheses we're going to pull from this data variable. And in brackets we're going to put in double quotes items, because if we go to this link right here, this page is going to pop up. And what we're pulling from is this items tab here. And then the next thing we're going to be pulling from is 0. The next thing we'll be pulling from is statistics, and then finally subscriber count. And at the timing of this video, I only have 3 videos up, so this information is accurate. And then once we're done with all of that, we're going to print this as a number, and the number is going to be in curly brackets with a colon, comma, D. And this is just the proper formatting so that we can get our number. And then it's going to be .format, and the format is going to be taken from the subs variable. And once we've done that and saved it and all that good stuff, we're going to :Q to quit the document. But our next project file that we'll be going to is going to be located in .config/awesome/rc.lua. There will be a link in the description on how to get the rc.lua file if you need to get it. But we're going to click enter. And we're going to scroll all the way to WeBar. And if you don't know where WeBar is, some context for you is that we should have menu bar configuration, keyboard map indicator and switcher, and then WeBar. And so we're going to go down just a little bit until we see My YouTube. And My YouTube here is the variable that I've set up for this project. And so we set YouTube equal to awful.widget.watch because we're going to be watching the link. And so what I've done here is I've put bash in double quotations, the -c in double quotations, and then we're pulling, and this is the important part, we are pulling from Python 3. Some of you may have just Python. I did not have Python. I had Python 3, so I selected Python 3. But what you're going to want to do in this area is you're going to do a /user/bin/python 3. So that way we can call upon Python 3 to be able to pull the information from our py file that we just configured. And so we're going to put a space. We're going to have our home directory, which is this tilde key. And then /.config/awesome/subscribers.py. And then we're going to pipe that into awk, where we will use printf to have this formatting coming from this variable. So let me explain a little bit about what's going on in this awk. So what I've done here is that I've entered this command so that way I can show you guys what's going on. So this 0 value is, yes, the amount of subscribers that I have at the timing of this video. But that is the value of $1. And so that $1 is going to be used in our %d, and that is how we're going to get our value printed off. And so what I've done is that I've put the YouTube logo in there and then space %d. And if you want to know how to get these icons like I've been using in my videos, I use either Font Awesome or I use it from my nerd font that I use. And we're going to set this to every 10 minutes. So 600 seconds, because this does it in intervals of seconds. And the reason we want to definitely put an interval on this is because it does have a rate limit. So you definitely don't want to go below 10, or I personally would not go below 10. You could do 5 if you wanted to, but I think that would be pushing it. The biggest thing here to note is that you don't want it to do it every second, because as I said before, there is an API rate limit on this. And so once you've done that, we're going to go all the way to s.mywebox:setup, which this is where we'll be adding our widgets to the widget box. And it doesn't matter if you add it in the left widget, the middle widget, or even the right widget. But I put mine in the middle, and I put my variable down here. I put my YouTube, and then I put a comma. Go ahead and save your work, reload your configuration, and you should have it. One thing I will say is that if it doesn't load up, sometimes it's because you might have refreshed your AwesomeWM too much, and it might have triggered the rate limit. Which again is why we set it to every 10 minutes, but what I would do is that if you're going to be editing your configuration file for AwesomeWM, I would comment that out until you're done, so that way you're not pulling in these calls too much. And now we've come full circle. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video.